are watching Over the Back Fence, a conversation among neighbors. I'm Susan Laux, and this is a production of Neighborhood Falmouth. Our conversationalists today include Tom Sabara, Marion Bihari, Mary Pat McKenzie, Jackie Pratt, and me. So our conversation today is about cleaning out your stuff. So whether that's just cleaning out your own stuff, or whether you have a parent who died and you're cleaning out their stuff, whether it's their stuff has become your stuff and now you're trying to get rid of the stuff, what has that whole experience been like? Could be furniture, could be paper, could be whatever. So big topic, and we'll just see where it goes. So who wants to start? I guess.
Hey, Tom.
Oh,
Yeah.
Want to start, Tom?
Me?
Yeah, you can.
You talk to. I am not exactly the world's most avid cleaner out of stuff, as my wife will attest. She's constantly concerned that when we have to leave this house, which is not going to be in the too far distant future, that it will take a year to clean it out because of all of my stuff. I think that's a bit of an exaggeration, probably not more than 10 months, but I do have a lot of things, a lot of tools, especially. I've got a basement full of workshop tools that I love dearly, and I use them all the time, and I can't, for the life of me, figure out a way to winnow them down. Every time I move something I thought, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put stuff in a place where I think I was going to get I got rid of it, right? I put it over there and I'll see how long it takes before I need it. Well, 2 weeks later, I needed one of the things, and a week later, I needed another thing. And so that just convinced me that that was a hopeless exercise. So I'm probably not the best person to be asking this question.
Yeah. Well, I will jump in with a little bit of my story, a couple of things. First off, we cleaned out my parents' house not too long ago, and it was kind of heartbreaking in a way, because I thought that the closing date for the sale was coming up on a Friday, and I thought, okay, what we'll do, we'd gone through all the stuff, all of us kids, and the things we were taking, and really trying to push stuff on each other, because we wanted someone to have it. We just didn't want to have it. And so anyways, we got to the point where on Tuesday, I decided that I would have Habitat for Humanity come and take a lot of the furniture and the stuff and whatnot. And that would be a great way. They would take a whole bunch of stuff, and the next day we'd have the junk people come and just take, what little remained. And then we'd have a day to do the cleanup, and the next day would be Friday, and it would be all over. Well, Habitat came and they bought their big truck, and they looked around and they said, yeah, we'll take about 4 things here. And I was flabbergasted. And, it's just the time of our world where people don't want to inherit furniture anymore. They don't want to take stuff that they're not going to resell. Right. And this stuff wasn't meaningful to them the way it was meaningful to me and to us. So they took their 8 things or whatever it was, and we were backed up against the wall. The junk people came the next day, and they took everything: chairs, rugs, tables, lamps, antique stuff, whatever. It was gone. And then, but I had to just not think about it, and hope that secretly they themselves had a outlet for this stuff, and that they would find other homes for it. And then the next day we cleaned up and it went away. But it was hard. It was hard. But another thing that has been interesting is the document piece. My dad was an accountant and he was extremely fastidious about things. I mean, he got audited once by the IRS and they walked away saying like, we have never seen anything like this. You are incredible. So, I mean, it's like have the IRS pat you on the back. It's like, doesn't happen. So anyways, but he had these probably about a dozen banker boxes really well labeled and whatnot. And he did a reasonable job of every 7 years or whatever you're supposed to do to get rid of bank statements and things like that. But he also kept things like the warranty for the iron they bought the year they were married and the ironing board and stuff like that. My mom was like, you are insane, and this, we do not have this ironing board anymore. Get rid of it. So anyways, yeah, but it actually was very helpful, that document part, because we knew exactly where everything was. We knew the things we had to keep for taxes and selling and stuff like that. And we knew the things that we could pitch. And, the trick was then trying to figure out, you know, who was shredding or where to deposit all of this stuff so that it would be safely, destroyed. So anyways, but those are my stories. But it's hard. Cleaning out is hard. It's hard even if it's not your stuff, it's hard. How about any of you? I'm Marion.
Well, we brought my mother-in-law here almost 16 years ago from New York City. And she was at Atria, the old Atria, before they renovated. And she had a lovely apartment with many things, and she really wanted to keep a lot. So there is a storage place on Gifford. You rent a storage unit. So we brought all her furniture and all her little knickknacks, and we put it in the storage unit. And we paid for it. Actually, she paid for it, and she didn't want to get rid of it. And it was fine. But then she died, and everything was in the storage unit, and we didn't know what to do with it. So we were able to give some of the furniture to a nephew and things like that. But we had to pack it up, and we came and brought it to our garage. And she will be gone 16 years this July, and all the things are still in our garage. She and my husband used to go to garage sales. They had a table. And she used to collect depression glass and milk glass and all these little things. And we have the entire collection. So, and then we have some of it in our basement. So I have my own things that I don't know what to do with, but I also have her things. So on Memorial Day weekend, we know someone who has an annual garage sale. And Mike is going to bring a table, and she approved this. And he's going to bring some of the bigger items. In fact, one of the items is a beautiful set of white china, not china, but every day, probably a set of 10, all in a box, sitting there from the time we packed it. It's still in the same box. So I don't know if anybody would buy it. I don't know what we're going to do with it if some of these things don't sell. But just like Tom, I'm not going to be here forever, and I don't know what to do with it. I think what we're going to have to do is call somebody and maybe have them have a garage sale outside of my garage. But and some of these things are worth a lot of money. Right.
Well,
16 years they've been in my garage.
but they're worth a lot of money is really depends on who is shopping for it,
Right.
that might be
It's worth a lot of money if you want
to-
it. If you don't want it,
Right.
it's going to be, one. So after the Memorial Day sale, we are actually going to get a dumpster. And we've been looking into it, and we are going to get a dumpster, and we're going to just have to throw some of the things away.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my story.
It's tough. It's really, really tough.
Very tough.
Yeah. And that stuff hasn't, gotten any better over time, probably.
I think, depression glass, some people like it, but, younger people don't want that kind of thing. And milk glass, I mean, when was the last time you went into a store and bought milk glass? I mean, it's beautiful, but nobody wants it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're all so lucky to have so much stuff.
Stuff.
How about either of you, Jackie or Mary Pat?
Oh, I'm the queen of cleaning out and then hoarding and building it all up again. I was somebody I had a really good friend who was nuts about yard sales. And so I go along, and we, the thing is that when she passed away, her children left a lot of stuff I rented the upper part of a duplex, and I had an attic. And so she had kids who weren't sure what they were going to do with some of her stuff, and so it ended up in my attic. And there were beautiful things but but they were in my attic. And of course, when my daughter went off to college, I started thinking about the fact that, hey, I don't know if we're going to be staying here forever. I don't know what her plans are going to be, but we've got to start getting rid of stuff. And so I started having yard sales. Checked with the landlord; he was perfectly happy, and I got really good at them. I got really good, but the other thing that we were really good at was Job Lot and the Christmas Tree Shop and TJ Maxx, and it was specific things that we sort of it was me. But I had Christmas like crazy. I had the most amazing assortment of nutty Christmas decorations and beautiful Christmas decorations and flatware and china and just and so at any rate we had 5 years of yard sales. And,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And the thing is, what I used to joke, I used to say, let's see if we can make you at least a month's rent. My daughter lived off campus, and we used to easily, we were like President Biden in his goals. We just fly over. We did really, really well. As a matter, when at some point in this craziness, my counseling partner at Gosnell said, "Listen, we've got to move. Can you help us?" And I went and I helped him with the yard sale, and we priced stuff and organized it and talked about what reason. At that point, I knew pretty much what the pricing was going to be because we failed, but we learned some tricks. Like the thing is that we always had tons of books, paperback books, hardback books. We would put them in boxes and we would tell people, of course you can have the books, but the whole box is $5. You have to
Great.
take the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Great. Move the whole thing out.
Right.
Yeah,
Good
That's,
idea.
yeah.
that's
And
smart. Well, maybe Jackie, you should give Marion some advice when you guys go on the yard
I
sale
was
circuit.
going to offer to try to help her if she'd like the help. I'd be glad to try to do that. I can't physically do the things. I used to cart stuff around and polish it up and that kind of thing, but I might not be quite as good at that. But I can certainly try to help you. But the thing is, of course, the last yard sale was the final one. And we got, furniture because she was going to San Diego. She figured out what she wanted to take, had a friend who was actually moving stuff out there, and they shared a truck. And she, and and we got rid of everything, including my friend's stuff in the attic. Do you think we can find those children?
That's
least-
impressive.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah,
Oh.
but we made enough on the last one so that it paid her plane fare and her first month's rent. So so she was thrilled. Yeah.
Nice, nice,
Yeah.
Jackie. We
Yeah.
definitely need to talk to you. I've often thought that it would be a great thing for Neighborhood Falmouth to
Oh, yeah.
sponsor a big yard sale for all of
Yeah.
our members and volunteers. And, the Rod and Gun Club does that massive one. I don't know if you guys have ever been to that before.
Yes, it's huge.
It is
Huge.
huge. And they do that. I think they're collecting stuff all year round, and they have like big places to store things. That's the whole thing. I mean, it's one thing to actually put on the event. It's another thing to prepare
Yeah.
for it, get all the stuff there, and then figure out what you do with all the stuff that doesn't sell.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they have this kind of, it's a weekend, like a 3-day thing where things just, of course, get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. The goal being move it on out. But anyways, but what I've read about yard sales so many of our members are older women, and they say that, clothes, suits that people would wear, with a little
No.
spot here and there, nobody wants that stuff. The fashions have changed, even if you like retro things, the styles, how they're so savvy, the people who make all these things, they've changed it just enough that the old stuff doesn't work right. It looks old. So anyways, how about you, Mary Pat?
Well, weirdly enough, I mean, I'm convinced it all breeds in the garage or in the attic. When we moved to this house, we lived in a much bigger house in New Jersey. And so because we bought a lot of things at auction, we called them. And in the end of April, 6 years ago, it's 6 pages of single spaced items, furniture, beds, couches, paintings, all of it went, because this house was already furnished, because we'd been furnishing it because we had it before we sold the other house. And then somehow we ended up with a moving van that came here. And I now blame my kids for a lot of it, because my son who lives in California, we have all his stuff in the garage. My niece who lives in California, we have her stuff in the garage, and we don't have a basement. So it's either in the storage unit on Gifford Street, or it's in the garage, or it's just in closets. And there's a lot of stuff. And I dread the day my mother goes, because I'm the executor of her will. And, not all of her grandchildren live on the East Coast. They don't want the stuff. They don't care about it. And I'm still getting rid of stuff of my grandmother's, where they're dead people that I don't even know who the people are. I don't remember who they were. I mean, I wasn't born, so I guess I can remember them. And then there's some that, like my aunt who had them last, cut out the people she didn't like. So it's like a wedding face.
I
I suppose we could just throw those out, but they're kind of funny to pass on.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So we just have piles of it. And because Donald and I are both among the oldest of our cousins and families, it's like I'm not kidding, it breeds. Now, on the other hand, we are both terrible about, you can't find a tool, just go to Job Lot and buy another one. So I found the other day, I was looking for my loppers to do some yard work that extend. And instead of just one pair of loppers, I found 3 pairs. So we have to stop doing that. We have had yard sales. We've been in this house for 6 years. We have had gigantic yard sales and made a couple of $1,000s each time.
Wow. Wow.
So it's breeding. I do think the stuff multiplies all.
I think so.
Yeah, I think having a plan to get rid of it like you do, Marion, I mean, even if it's not an exhaustive plan, that's smart.
I mean, Mike has probably, I think it's 7 years now. He has a little shop on Etsy, and he has sold lots of little things, but it's really hard to sell, dishes and big pieces.
Yeah.
And we have some really interesting pieces that they bought at garage sales.
Yeah.
The people who buy on Etsy pay for the shipping, but still,
Ah,
yes, the
hmm.
buyer pays for shipping.
Guys, I have someone, excuse me,
What?
I'm sorry. I have someone at my door.
Oh,
So let
okay.
me go see what's going on there, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Uh, so, but it's the little things are okay. It's the big things.
Yeah.
And so we really are looking into getting a dumpster. And I don't even
but
want to
those
look at
household,
it. I just want to,
honestly, Marion, the household auctioneers and Sandwich Auction does household goods. And especially like if you did it this time of the year, because there are people that are looking to furnish cottages.
right.
And that's worth it. Or just put it on eBay or whatever, like the
Right.
neighborhood thing.
Right.
And
But
say
you know what?
free.
This isn't really furniture. These are trinkets and
Oh,
things
okay.
like that. And you're not going to furnish your house with trinkets.
No.
But we have a massive amount of trinkets.
Yeah.
We did get rid of furniture by posting it and just saying, $100 for a 4-piece set of family room furniture, couches and chairs. Gone. It was gone the next day.
That's great.
It's just
Before we left New York, we had a big garage sale, and we must have sold about $3,000 worth of things. And one of the things that I remember mostly was a file cabinet, a two-door file cabinet. So we sold it for almost like nothing, like $4, $5. So we get to the new place, and guess what we needed? A new file cabinet. We have to pay $80 for the new file cabinet.
Of course.
So
Of
things
course.
kind of happen also.
Of course. Well, you know what? One thing that I think is worth mentioning here, and I think maybe it's almost time to wrap up this conversation, is that it would be wrong of me not to mention that Neighborhood Falmouth is hosting a document shredding fundraiser on June 12th, which is a Saturday, in the parking lot of the Cape Cod Church. And anyone coming with a box, and what we consider a box, we're pretty loose about this, but it's roughly a banker's box or a big grocery bag or a box that a carton of paper would come in, several reams of paper, that kind of thing, is for $10. And we have 2 shredding trucks. One will shred your documents on site so that you can watch all the sensitive stuff be taken care of right then, or you can have it hauled away, and then you don't have to wait in line. Maybe you just have it hauled away, and it will go off Cape to a secure shredding facility. So if you're interested, you can call Neighborhood Falmouth. Our phone number is 508-564-7543. You can look at our website, neighborhoodfalmouth.org. But we hope we'll see you on Saturday, the 12th of June from 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. And we'll help you get rid of at least the sensitive document part of your life. So any last comments before we wrap this one up?
don't buy more stuff.
Yeah, that's the trick, right?
Right.
Although we went to an estate sale on Saturday and we bought more stuff.
Oh, Mary Pat.
Couldn't
no.
resist having a third chessboard in the house. Even though we don't
Oh,
play.
no. Oh, no. Yeah, there might be groups for you or something like that.
Yes, right.
Support groups or something.
I'm
You know,
sure it was
that
a
would-
really nice chessboard, though.
It's a beautiful
I
chessboard.
bet.
So my question is, where do all these young people who are starting out, just got married and are starting out
Mm.
someplace, where the hell do they get all the stuff that they need? if they don't get it from us.
IKEA.
Right, and it's not trinkets, it's, you know, modern, much more modern. And they don't have the same feeling about older things, antiques, and what, I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure there's some people that do. But just talking to younger people, they're not interested in that. They don't buy china. They don't buy, you know, sterling silver. They don't have real good crystal. They buy everyday wear. That's all that's necessary.
Well, and I think some of them don't have the room to store stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and our lifestyle, the lifestyle now is just very different than,
Correct.
you know, 50 years ago when people were getting married, or 40 years ago or whatever. And yeah. Okay, the last thing I will say is that Neighborhood Falmouth will make an effort to put in the enterprise information about those kinds of things that you should keep or shred, because you know, the IRS and your bank and other places have official guidelines that are helpful. So if you were going to be audited, they would look back 7 years into your documents or things like that. So we have all that stuff. We will make it available to you so that you can be smart about what you shred. And thank you all for joining us today. And we hope we'll see you on another adventure over the back fence, a conversation among neighbors. This is a production of Neighborhood Falmouth. Thank you. Goodbye.